It's the Eggla and Badger Show.
Talk about unpleasant.
It was pretty intense. I dosed myself in my space. I touched my tongue. I didn't realize it until afterwards, really. The guy next door had dark music on. I went off like in the clouds. I had to save the world. I ended up going into Blockbuster, fully naked.
Oh no.
Head shaved with this weird hair, like weirder than this shit.
You give drugs a bad name.
Movie Aladdin.
You saw a poster or something?
Blurting out Aladdin with my hand in the air like it was just going to appear. Aladdin.
Dude, must have that lamp. Must have that lamp.
I don't know what the fuck. Every face quiet. When I heard the sirens, I snapped out, realizing I was fully naked with everyone looking at me. I casually walked out, running across Lincoln between cars, packed on both sides, back to my studio.
You got away?
That time,
Oh, you're lucky.
then I got in my van and flew away.
Whoa.
As soon as I believed I wasn't driving, I crashed. Cops showed up. I was running around. They caught me. At that point, cops, all cops in the whole universe turned into cockroaches. All of them. They arrested me. They put me in jail, threw burlap over me.
They arrested me and threw me in jail. Call my pappy and swing my bail. He said, son, you're gonna drive me drinking, so stop when you're naked crossing Lincoln.
They were so afraid of me. They brought me in on a gurney, put me in a thing, chained me to a wall.
Oh yeah, not giving you any fuse.
I sat there, said zero. I signed nothing. I said nothing, nothing.
Amazing.
Should we take you to the hospital?
You were tripping?
Tripping, just tripping. They thought I was on PCP.
I haven't seen PCP in 30 years. Who the fuck's got PCP?
I'm not on PCP. I'm psychological. My mom died, broke up with my girlfriend. Nobody asked me anything. You guys just came in at me. You're this and this. Because I'm not saying anything? Fuck you! I was strapped to the gurney, surrounded by cops, one talking to a doctor. They told her what I was on. She came right up to me, and she goes, what are you on? LSD. They tried getting my prints and making me sign stuff with cuffs on. I said, no, 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 no. By that time, I had a smock. She gave me booties. At 6 in the morning, she paid for a cab to take me home.
That's cool.
I went home. My studio door was open like this much. I'm like looking around, walking in.
Nobody fucked anything?
It was all there. I had a medicine circle with all my drugs and all my shit, and I go, all that really happened. I got my car out of impound. All 4 tires were blown.
Damn, I know you ain't going far.
Got those fixed. Got my car back. Got everything. Months later, I get something in the mail from the DA. I owe them for all these
services.
officers, all these things, all added up to $1,000 even.
I think it's more than that.
It's weird because it's like an hour 36, an hour 42, did all these things.
How they document how time flies.
If you have questions, call. I call the DA.
You sure you don't want one of these?
No, she goes, what's your case number? Look up the case number. Hold on a second. I could hear her reading. Was naked. She goes, call me back in 3 weeks. Okay. I called her in 3 weeks. Hello, case closed. Thank you, click.
Case dismissed.
After all that, it wasn't really weird.
I got a cop pull me over. Fucking searched my car. Found 20 hits of ecstasy, some pot, a scale. He's trying to paint me as this fucking dealer. I said, dude, I just got evicted. I got everything I own in my fucking car. I didn't even know I had some of this shit. You found pills I didn't even know I had. I forgot about this shit. He found a piece of hash. It looked like black tar. It really did. He goes, this is not black tar. It's cannabis. It's not even good. That's why it's there. I wouldn't smoke it.
How'd he let you go?
He didn't. He fucking took me to fucking jail. Went to Twin Towers. I was there. I got bailed out. I had a suit on. I went in there. The judge is reading the fucking thing. Is Mr. Badger here? He looks at me. This is Mr. Badger? He goes, something's wrong with this story. Look, I got a prescription for pot. All of a sudden, the pot and the scale were off the table. He goes, what about this? He said 20 hits of he's like, he couldn't pronounce that word. So it says MDMA in parentheses. I go, oh, MDMA, that's ecstasy. I said, there's a loosely knit network of people who believe that. I don't need it anymore. It's not something I need to take all the time. I certainly don't need this kind of trouble, you know? So forget it. I'm done with that shit.
Go away. Go away.
What about this? The guy had hundreds of Prozac, Zoloft, amitriptyline, all these other pills. I said, oh, those are failed antidepressants I had tried that were not nearly as effective as MDMA. He goes, okay. All I had to do was go to meetings and stay out of trouble. It was dismissed. It was called a deferred entry of judgment. I plead guilty to possession.
Yeah.
20 hits. It was actually a felony. I pled guilty, but it was set aside and never entered. My plea was never entered. The judge deferred, and the case was set aside and dismissed, so I have no record.
If you did something that would have kicked in then, be even harder. Then time?
If I got into trouble the next year, that would have stood, and I would have had to deal with the new trouble and that trouble too. Fuck.
Right.
What was wild is I had $350 in court costs in the end. I went back there and paid the $350 from the sale of ecstasy. Justice was served. Totally. Full circle.
Full circle. Once again.
I don't even like ecstasy. That's what's crazy. To go down for ecstasy was like, fuck. Never really had a good time on it.
What do you have a good time on?
LSD.
LSD.
LSD is the most wonderful experience discovered by humans. Nothing has come along to change my mind. Scientists who study this kind of thing, they know that it's a fucking unique thing. There's other psychedelics, but nothing quite like LSD.
Nothing. Yeah, totally nothing.
A unique experience. There's nothing quite like it. Not MDMA, ayahuasca, mushrooms, mescaline. They're similar, but they're not quite the same thing.
I totally agree.
Nowhere do you have the complete everything like that.
Yeah.
Stuff so powerful, the fucking potency is insane. Now they come up with a lot of drugs that are powerful and effective in sub-milligram levels.
Yeah.
This stuff, for example.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
100 micrograms of this shit is a lot for somebody who's totally naive of any of these kind of drugs. They take 100 micrograms of this shit and they're like, whoa.
Yeah. Whoa. Oh, yeah. Whoa. Sure. Whoa.
You want to go for a walk?
Sure. Roll one up.
Yeah.
These pieces all represent how technology may be affecting the human soul. I'm Tim Johnson. I made this art. Technology helps us form our own prisons, ever so easily. Weirdness. I love it. cosmic mission. This represents mankind. Man on a mission to find his origin in the universe. Is mankind emerging from an ancient technology, an unexplainable ancient technology, or is mankind downloading his essence into a Could it be a mixture of both? This shows mankind intertwined with technology in a way that's still a bit confusing for us, since we have no idea where it will take us. So this is the mission to find man's origin.
Technology affecting the soul. Technology affecting the soul. Technology affects soul. Technology affecting the soul.
Really just make people feel like a kid with the things that I create. That's the goal. You know, like that's why I make swings and stuff, because it makes you feel like a kid, you know, when you're on it. You can't deny it. It's like, it's not really that complicated. It's just more about the act of doing.
So what would you say your art is?
For me, it's kind of an adventure. You know, it's always me just doing shit, and it never ends. That's why what it is for me. You know, things are temporary. You know, the posters, all the art stuff, it's all temporary. You know, when it's in the city and all that, and eventually it fades. It fades. It loses its color. It gets taken and destroyed, whatever, covered up. But so it's a constant battle. It's a constant fight. You know, for us to keep on, you know, clinging to these feelings and these, you know, these methods of just kind of saying, yeah, I'm gonna be a kid my whole life, you know, and it's not about, yeah, growing up or giving things up. It's all about just going, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna be me and continue to be me, because that part of myself is something that's important. Just do the dance, you know, have fun, you know, do what makes you feel good about yourself. And, you know, especially, I mean, it's different when you're creative, because you can change your world, you know, the things that you can make. When we were little kids, we all would create stuff and make things. And yeah, as you get older, people go, no, I don't make stuff. I don't paint. I don't this. I don't that. You know, and it's like, well, you just go, do it, do your thing. You just have to keep on doing it, because most people they lose that spark or that feeling about life. But really, they are so stuck in what they think that they've become, you know. And really, you got to keep changing, but a lot of it is you got to keep clinging backwards to those feelings of fun and of, you know, that essence of you being a kid, because that's what keeps you there. But that's the whole thing. It's kind of what it means to me.
I love that, man. There you go. This piece has a little bit going on. What's this all about?
This is an assemblage piece I did from materials that I'm gonna confess I took from a Rotary Club in Kansas City a million years ago. I feel kind of bad about that. And then I superimposed some text on it. I was working for the government at the time, and I was also fascinated by Greek Neoplatonic writings, philosophical writings. So not a whole lot of deeper meaning in this beyond kind of a fascination on my part. Greek philosophy, as I mentioned, Neoplatonic philosophy, and Mithras, fire god, was coincidentally born on December 25th. It's the intersection of aliens, meth, government, and Neoplatonism. There you have it. This piece is really, well, I guess you can guess that it's about traveling into different dimensions with Aladdin as your guide. So Egg is my Aladdin. Psilocybin for many years was sort of a drug of choice. I experimented with it widely when I was in my college years, like many of us did. I don't know that I ever went to different planets, but it certainly helped me take a flight of fancy, if you will. And then of course, you know, you got the different images from famous sci-fi films. I had a major sci-fi kick for many, many, many years, collected books and magazines and video files and all that. I got these, scored these mushrooms. So yeah, not of this earth, kind of the story of my life. I like to think of myself as a Buck Rogers type character. Wow, Satan's Satellite, that's an oldie but a goodie. It's one of the Babas. I have a hard time keeping track of them all. Can't recall if I mentioned this or not, but the wood is from discarded TV and movie sets. When I was at Fox, they would toss them into the dumpster, and I would go dumpster diving for the wood, and then I would make my assemblages. Good times. It's all about recycling. Recycled themes, recycled gods, recycled spirituality.
Oh yeah, I can raise this one, so for big paintings.
That's very nice.
I made this easel in Japan.
Really? How long were you in Japan?
14 years. I was teaching painting there. The biggest influence for me, or inspiration, is just nature in general. So there's always a undertone of nature that I'm feeling as I paint. But I'm working very spontaneously, in the sense of when I start a painting, then I don't have any plan, and I more or less follow how the painting develops on its own. Yeah, I'm concerned with the mystery of things, not with the literal reality so much, but more the mystery about our consciousness, you know? Something deeper than just the reality of the object or of an idea or of nature. I've been mostly working with oil and pencil on the paper, and oil on the canvas. And now I'm adding, experimenting with acrylics. With the pencil, it gets some more depth. The overall thing is the light, because that, for me, that represents consciousness. No, there's no end. I can't end it up. It's always a beginning. I mean, that's true. I'm not just saying that.
Yeah.
That's, for me, that's the thrill of painting. It's always the unknown, and it's always a beginning, you know? And I think that's good. That something like that keeps you young too, you know?
Yeah.
My name's Kevin Reinhardt. I practice mostly sculpture, and then I also have painting stuff that I do. So when I'm doing sculpture, I like working in wood, but I also think I'm pretty open to experimenting with whatever materials. I think that's one of the luxuries of fine art, is that you can sort of be aggressive and delicate, aggressively delicate about your finishing technique, because they're treated preciously. I think a lot of the work for me is study into ideas, or study into compositions. So I think when I'm like the most invested and lost in my work, it's because it's a study of something that I find interesting, which I think is what the busts are about, what the windows are about. I think about things a lot before I do them. I don't really sketch stuff. You know, I sort of think about it and then I try and make it, and I find that it's more worthwhile for me to and then start over than it is to like try and plan out in sketch form exactly how it's going to go. So I think that's a big part of my process, is sort of making stuff and then remaking it, sort of comparing the two, the first iteration, the second iteration. Before I was doing art full time, I was still making art on the weekends. So I sort of look at it like that. Like, I think right now I'm able to afford to make art full time. And if someday things change and I'm not, I'll still make art. I just won't be able to make it quite as like furiously as I am right now. It doesn't mean that I'm not making art anymore, you know? I would still have projects that I'd want to do, and I'd still sort of be thinking about them frequently. And you know, I think that yeah,
Making studies.
I think that's still an authentic experience, and you know.
Okay, so this is how paintings begin in my world. So that's the charcoal sketch for that. And then 2 is washing, which is paint. And then I get here, and that's stage 3, really. Here's when I'm really done. So this is the Beverly Hills Hotel. I don't like to consume creative. I like to make creative. Fill in the blanks, right? And that to me is where like the fantasy of it kind of comes in, of looking at a painting and going, what's going on in there? You know, I need to take another look. This guy, he's in my painting, and I took a picture of him a long time ago, and I just love him. He's like 8,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and look at his hair. He looks like a penguin, and he's been sleeping on the back of his head. I just love him so much. He's so much fun to paint, and he's got boobs. Yeah. So technically, they would call me a realist, right? Because you know what you're looking at. But I think I have a very whimsical style where I just can be loose, and it doesn't have to be super specific. But now I'm committed. Like I show up, I do it. If I come in here and I don't feel like it, I know I'm going to get in here and I'm going to feel like it, which to me is like so fabulous. And sometimes I just use colors I like that don't belong. For example, why is neon magenta in here? Because Charlotte likes neons. There's going to be probably neon and glitter and everything, and I have more neon paint than I have bought every single tube of neon paint I can find in oils, and most people are like, they don't make neons and oils. I'm like, oh yes, they do. I have bought them all, and they will find their way into every painting, because to me there's something groovy about neons. That's just me. Oh my god, I already knew that? That's so cool. Like, I actually know something. The most important thing I think I got from it, stick with it. Stick with it. Because that is, it's so easy to abandon something and just go, not working. No, stick with it. And I'm like, you know what? Trust it's going to come back. Okay, so yeah, I know I'm off track, but we'll get back to it. And I love that. Isn't it great here? You can see the glitter, right? My painting is not something that people are going to go and try to figure out, like, what is this about? It's like, right now, I'm just enjoying painting things that I think simply make people feel good. They like it. It makes them feel happy.
Castaneda, Leticia Castaneda.
What are you doing here?
Just some CPC connectors for an order I got. That's a CPC. Mm-hmm.
That looks pretty crazy.
And just a little hustle I do. Whoa.
What the heck was that?
Just random stuff, just random noises.
From where?
Just through, I don't know, it happens.
So these are all the connectors you're putting together?
Yeah. I first got into these because I used them for my rig, for my synthesizer. So I have panel mounts for my synthesizer. I could set up really fast. I mean, when I play gigs, I could go in and out of anything, and it's pretty endless. That's part of the problem, I suppose. I started playing these modular synthesizers before really popular. Exploring that for a while, a long time ago. So I'm really into techno music and experimental electronic music. But the techno music, my goal was to make a techno music and collaborate with my modulars. Back then, everybody was like, they just wrote me off as experimental noise. As years gone by, I have seen that it's kind of like now it's everywhere. So I feel like now I really have to even go farther over the edge if I wanted to get anywhere with music. But I also feel like I could just do what I was doing and it would be better than what's being done because I know the deeper part of it. I kind of just got out of, performing and stuff like that. And I started learning other things. But I realized that life is pretty boring. There's not really much to keep you going without art. It's fun to collaborate on music, and it gives you a reason to see friends, an excuse really to hang out. So
ding ding ding.
My plan is to start again, and it's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. I turn on my rig and it pretty much sings on its own.
Sure.
No aspiration to perform right now though. It felt like so intense. It felt like 1,000 people were there. That's how intense it felt. It was just that bass from the other room. I will have to go further now. Well, you have to make a living, so our art turns into however we can. It turns into whatever we put our hands on, pretty much. Yeah. Yep. Now, this was my first tone generator I traded my bed for when I was 16. And it has all these 1/4-inch outs. And yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So you played that?
I played that with the drum machines, and I started getting into gates and then low frequency pulses, I guess. I like working on my own schedule. I like working alone. So it suits me well. I like seeing a result to my work too as well. I like seeing something finished. Something useful.
So when did you get that oscillator? How old were you?
16.
16. So you were already into music at 16.
Oh, I guess so, yeah. Started studying?
Yeah, started
I guess
studying
I was about
engineering side.
23. I think I was 23.
Okay.
But at 16, yeah, I guess I was recording on a 4-track, and I was just, I remember I used to flip over the tape and record on the other side of the 4-track, and then everything was playing backwards. And I thought, I didn't know how or why it was playing backwards, but so then that's where I started, from that is where I started finding what kind of sound I liked. I bought a 4-track Porta Studio, Tascam.
Just to do it, be doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I recorded some tracks, and then I started playing gigs. Well, we used to have multiple rooms for like one night of art and music. Like the cannibal flower and such.
Yeah, come on over over to Cherokee Studios and you're wiring up their entire board. It was a big job.
Yeah, that was big. That took about 3 years. I'd wire studios all by myself, and I've done quite a few since then. The art caused me to learn the inner workings of how sound is amplified and the paths it takes to be amplified. That made me learn the intricateness of the signal path. From there, then I applied that to technical knowledge to making a living. So yeah, so now the integrity of the signal path is like the most like important aspect of everything that I do actually, and for everybody else too. They know that I understand that, and so that's what I've been kind of, that's how I made my living. But I also want to make my music with that way too. It's exactly what I want it to be. It's a quiet loud. If I have every input and every output of every device that I have, then I'm happy. If I have that at access to my fingertips, then I could do anything. It's maximum from the minimum. But now at the point I have these multi-connectors and stuff, I pretty much am there. So once I turn my rig on, it's pretty much all hooked up, and it makes things like that, like you just heard, and it's pretty happy.
That's what we're listening to now.
Yeah. It's not complicated. I only use one oscillator. I use one. I use one oscillator from a modular and one oscillator from my Data Pulse. The Data Pulse is a video sync machine that I get tone from, or clock dividers from modular synthesizers. And then I patched them into hardware gates that we use in the recording studio. In between there, I put delay. So then the gate comes out delayed, so that the key opens a delayed gate to another oscillator. Once I let them go, they all open at different times without like being controlled.
Wow, cool. That's a good mouthful.
Yeah. It's like 70%, 30% control. I have about 30% control. That's what I wanted. I guess, the integrity of the signal path can be applied to the integrity of the life path.
All the way?
Yeah, totally. Well, especially with audio, man. Fucking everything sounds out a little. How does that happen? Like, first of all, how the fuck does that happen? Dude, at this, I could get all those, I could understand people dead people. I could hear dead people through this. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy to me, that there are so many of them at once, and you could decipher them. How does that happen? And then that they could be so loud that you could change people's minds, like thousands of people's minds all at once, and communicate that. It's alien, fucking alien.
What do you mean by being able to hear dead people?
Being able to hear dead people just because they were captured on these little 7 wires. There's 7 wires in there. And I could hear a dead person's voice through it. It's just incredible to me. Have you never thought about that?
Oh, somebody that recorded on that's gone. Oh my God, I'm like going, Jesus, Letitia is going off the deep end. She's talking
What the
to dead
fuck
people.
are you talking? What are you thinking? Jesus! Going farther down. No, I'm not there yet.
Oscar DeAnda, I don't know, a doodler, an illustrator, I guess. No, I always used to watch cartoons, and I always try to draw whatever I was watching. It started there, essentially. Then Star Wars happened when I was like stupid young, and that influenced me, I guess, to this day. I always liked the idea of drawing comics. How do you do that? There's always the question. It's like, just doing it, I guess. That's the thing about art, is you should always be improving, not oh, I've hit my plateau. This is as good as I'm gonna get. It shouldn't be that. You should be trying to push yourself everything, every project, whatever, to do something a little bit better. Let's get this guy down. You have to learn anatomy to break it. Learning how to do structure, how to do form. Especially when you're just hashing out ideas. That's the fun. When you do your paneling, it's easier to look at it and be able to think, does it tell a story? Can you read it without any words? It's got to be simple enough for the reader to follow it. It's just, you have to have the eye to make sure it flows without dialogue. You should be able to tell a story without telling it. Comic books is a visual medium. Clearly, there's drawings to go with your words. You know who Jack Kirby is at all? Kirby's technically the guy who created most of the stuff. Dan Lee is sort of the writer.
Could it be good art or just this garbage?
Just that garbage. The O in the box. That's usually how I sign off on the drawing. I was looking at battery covers, and I was just like, oh, that I can just put my O in that. That's why it's got that little bit at the bottom. That's where the screw goes in. I think it's storytelling. When you're doing comics, you're trying to tell a full tale as fast as you can and as succinctly as you can, and solid enough for people to be like, oh, that was good. In theory, yes, it's that. You had an idea, you put it down. It doesn't matter. If you handed me something, I could tell that. And that's my ultimate goal. It's way interesting, and it's really weird to think that, like, oh, I went from wanting to do them, selling them, then doing them.
My name's Richard Shoku. I do different types of glass art. I do paintings. I do drawings. That's a kiln piece. I refired it and it fused again, and my next process is I'm going to slump it in a slumping mold like that. It's a process of exploration with my glass fusing and mixing things together, and this is kind of another experiment. You know, things happen in the kiln that are completely unexpected. Fusing glass, because when it goes into the kiln, it looks entirely different compared to when it comes out. So I've been getting into slumping these little things, keeping with the flower theme. I made this one with. So interesting how you can get two totally different looking objects from this exact same mold. This looks like the easiest one to get. So there we go. So I'm trying to make a perspective here of a flower going off into the distance. I think they used to everything. You're either an expressionist or an abstractionist or a cubist, and kind of nowadays I think you're free to do what you want. This is going to be the center of the shape, or I'm going to make another flower. Here's what I'm doing. So I just got to put some glass on the bottom. Throw a little, this is plum colored frit. That's it. That's exactly what I did to this one right here. And you can see the frit on the base, and then all these pieces fused and slumped down and gave me this shape. You know, end up getting a bunch of cool little objects. I've really come to terms with the fact sometimes art just wants to be beautiful. You know, you don't have to get too deep into your work. At least not all the time. You know, sometimes you just want to have fun. I'm gonna add a little red on that, and that might solve my problem. You know, it's kind of like cooking. You know, you're like a little frit. You think sometimes I feel like I'm adding some seasoning. I mess around with a lot of different mediums, you know, like even with glass. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I sit around and make a bunch of mosaics. These are done, and we will see how they come out in a little more than 24 hours.
cut that another time. That is not going to happen right now. Oh. So this has gone from here to here in my thinking. From there to there. It's going to be a little bit more, I don't know, dynamic. Anyway, I wanted to find a base. It's going to be that's easy. And now we're going to fool around. I think that's going to go right in. There we go. And then that, I'm going to make a little scale model of it. Very dirty. Alright, well that's the next one. I think this is going to go back and forth thing. Alright. Yeah, still screws in there. Just going to cut that off and make that right. Oops. Concept. So my swedge block. That'll get the balance act going. I'll make it real quick. Should work. Close your eyes. There we go, there we go. Perfect. Dig that. I gotta cool this down. That's one thing, if you're going to work with metal, you're going to grind. Metal is its own thing. Has a smell to it like shop class. There you go. Woof. Love it! Ooh, that's nice too. I might have to pound on the larger one. This is a scale model of what I'm doing for sound browse. And I'm gonna have little people. I like that. Now I'm just gonna kind of do some. All right. Now there's several different shapes. Abstractal, people, right. If I do that, I'm going to want to, let's just see if I can do that. I don't think these are going to be long enough for a full-grown person. Ooh, maybe. That's pretty big though, mister. Oh, well, let's just see how it goes. I don't know if I'm going to do them on top or down there. Kind of depends on my welding technique. Totally. I don't think I can micro weld that though, Senor. Egg. Okay, so that was 24. So that could be a 24 foot, which would be, you know, not that big. And then there's multiple ways I could get. I think, okay, let's do another one. There's gonna come a point where weight is paramount. That's where some kernels come in. Different size kernels. Oh, I'm kind of liking it. I could go abstract. I could do like dueling abstract and dueling figurative. So the two big are abstract and the other ones are, or the two, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not the big one. You never know. Do you? Do you? So then this will be kind of like that, going, waiting for people to go, boom, 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 boom. And then somebody over here, boom, 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 boom. A little woodstock would be funny, like. All right. That's metal. Wood. Eraser. That's because of that. I don't think I want to fix that. I think I'm not going to fix that. Just so you know. So this is for Sound Browse, LB Sound Browse. LB Sound Browse in Belmont Shore, November 15th, 6 to 9 on 2nd Street. The whole thing, there's going to be 20 artists or more. They're going to be in public spaces and empty spaces and tucked away spaces. I'm going to be in a little communal space where everybody can kind of go like that. Activation is at 6 o'clock. Everybody's up and powered. So this is going to be an acoustical and electronic piece. It did just disappear. All right, so that one person's playing on that side, and then I think I'll have another person playing on the other side. And I kind of like making a knot every once in a while. Kind of makes everything kind of tense. What's going on here? That's what's going on there. Follow your heart. You're all knotted up. No, see? Took too much right in the beginning, and now there's not enough for that other arm. Mister. Oh, what do you mean? Kind of move it along here. Editing up all of the Spotlight Artist pieces, it made me realize how much people are inspired by the world, inspired by the wonder, searching and exploring for the stuff that relevance in our lives. It's pretty cool. I like it. I have like 6 other ones in works, and I'm just going to keep doing it because I dig it. I dig what people have to say and getting people's points of art, what they do. You're going to be a small head? So, just so you know, it's going to keep going. As is Eggla and Badger. There's many, many stories happening as we bend and speak. And, well, I'm always going to do food. I come from food. I think we all come from food, don't we? Good analogy. Maybe you have a big tummy. Go through there. Yeah, let's just do that. Just do that. Alright. Expressly expressive. Yeah. Reach for the sky. Same mass. We'll just have to see what happens on that. All right. So then, if those are, say that big, then I want to make something smaller. Make them smaller. And these will be the abstractals. Yes, that's what they're going to be. Excuse me? Did you mean to do that? No. So if I make them the same length, theoretically they're the same weight, and then I can be close and abstractals. Tighten it up. And I have to figure out how am I going to put this on here. That might be the way, up there versus down here. Where's that magic? Magic, please. I actually really like that. The little. It doesn't have to be that way, does it? It could be just how you do. How are you doing? Kinda. Look at that. And dude, they're ramen me. Do. I think it's gonna work. Really beautifully. And resolve. That's on the bottom. Even that might just be nice. Boom, 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 boom. It's very deep. Boom, 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 boom. And those deep, but it is tight. Just go unilaterally, quadrilaterally. Oh, la 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 la. Ah. We have another one. And reversing direction. Puts in a little. For a little bit more. Just like that, you know? Same size. You're more. Principal. Matt. Yeah. Well, if you bring it up there. Now, what will that do? Will it even be a effect? Mhm. And it doesn't have to be all on the same longitude. Look at that. Oh. I really like that. I have to refine it over the next 2 months. And October 15th to November. So November 15th, this will be in large form. Like big. I told you, I'm getting big. We'll keep it rolling. I like it. All right. Love it. There you go. All right. Thanks for showing up to Sonics. See you on the next one. Stay creative.